Hey, are we on? Happy Friday. Tell me you live in Florida without telling me you live in Florida. How about Uggs and a tank top? Yeah, girl. And a fuzzy furry top. How's it going? I'm a little bit late. I like to come around noon usually, but I was busy today. I was doing coaching calls. I recorded a podcast. What else? I had a meeting at 5:20 this morning with my friend and copywriter in India who helps me do like the writing some emails and the funneling we do. Hey, Tara, good to see you. Happy Friday. Oh my gosh. Yesterday was Tara's day 50 sober. Congratulations. It gets, okay, this is why I've remembered to come on live. I just did a TikTok skit thing. And I have some non-alcoholic wine, which I think I've showed you guys before. This is actually really good, by the way, hand on heart. And so I use this for all my little skits, and it makes me want to barf just thinking about it, which that's a little bit of hope that I'll give you this afternoon on your lunch break. Maybe you're on your lunch break. It's 1:30. That there will be a time when you do not want this ever again. And today was just another one of those times where I was like, this is gnarly. I don't want even the sight of it, the bottle, the whole thing. The fact that I was addicted to that garbage makes me just nauseous. So there's hope. There is no good alcohol-free red wine. I have to say there's not a lot of good alcohol-free red wine, but there are some good brands coming up. You can't just get them at the grocery store. This one is a good one you can try. But the problem is what we do is we hope that it's going to be the warming sensation. We hope that we're going to get that fuzzy thing that we get with the red wine, and it ain't coming in this bottle because the alcohol is removed. I think you can get it with the beer, like an alcohol-free beer. You're like, oh, that actually did the trick. But when we're pouring this right after we quit drinking, and we're expecting to get this warm sensation from this, and we don't, it's a little bit disappointing. But I do have to say that I think single-handedly alcohol-free stuff has gotten me through my first sobriety thing. I mean, I really didn't know how to run the bubble bath without wine. I didn't know how to cook spaghetti without wine. I didn't know how to get on the phone without wine. Drive to soccer games. So a lot of time, I'm not even here to talk about this. I don't know why I'm holding this, but we're talking about alcohol-free wine. But just the act of pouring it into a glass saved the game for me early in my early sobriety. So that's all. I wasn't really here to even talk about that at all. I'm actually going to make lunch really quick because I'm freaking starving. I'm trying to do that fasting thing, which obviously isn't working because I'm freaking starving. And so I'm going to make these eggs. And used to be I would make eggs. By the way, I freaking boiled these perfectly. I never do them the same ever. And they came out so good. But I used to make a big scene out of having like an egg salad or deviled eggs or whatever, but I found an easier way that just takes so much less time. But I put on a little bit of weight from the holidays. I mean, I remember just saying, fuck it, I'll eat and drink whatever I want, and I'll figure it out in January. So that is where I'm at now. If you ever wondered what it's like to be a sober coach or a coach in general, this was never part of my plan. I don't know what I thought I was doing with my life. I just was I was drinking a lot. I was being a mom most of the time. I was like, I don't even know. I had no game plan. And I went and saw a psychic with some girlfriends of mine in Casadega, Florida. It's like known to be Psychic Central. I'd never heard of it before. And so I went to see the psychic, and I walked in, and she was like, oh, like very matter of factly. She's like, you're going to be teaching a lot of women. You're going to be helping and coaching a lot of women. And I was thinking, I mean, I felt really down on myself. I was a huge, heavy drinker. I was 30 pounds overweight. All I thought about was smoking cigarettes and drinking. There was no way I could have ever helped anyone. I was not even helping myself. I was barely brushing and flossing my teeth at night because my alcohol had gotten so bad. I kind of laughed it off. I was like, well, I just wasted money on some psychic who does not know what she's talking about, and went about my merry way. And then not too much longer, I quit drinking and realized that I had a calling here, and it was to help other women stop drinking if they wanted to. I realized that a lot of women were struggling quietly with their drinking. It's not that I'm out here like, hey, you should quit drinking. You should quit drinking. I'm only talking to the ones that are like, shit, I have a problem too, and we did never expect it to have the problem that we have now. And I think COVID brought it on, and empty nest brings it on, and divorce, and really COVID sped everything up quite a bit. So it's just actually insane to hear how many, there's my fridge. I could have shut the door. It's just crazy to hear how many women are smart and we're badass and we've got kids and we're pretty and we're like, go, go, go. But there's this one thing holding us back, and it's alcohol. It's just unbelievable. So when I was telling my story early on, like, hey, I'm a huge drinker and I'm quitting, and other women would be like, me too, this has gotten to be a problem, then I knew I had to share. And the more I shared and the more people would come forward and say they had the problem, the better I felt. And I knew I was being called to share my story. So I did a podcast on it. That's where I was going. I recorded the podcast, and it's up now on Glowbig if you want to check it out and see how it's gone, because this was never a part of my plan. I just didn't. I thought, well, okay, all I have to do is share and help women. Like, how hard that can I be? At the time, I was on Instagram a lot. I was making reels about skincare or making reels about leggings, which I do love that legging brands. I'm still an affiliate with them. But like that, I was content-ish, but kind of fading away in my own skin. I kind of hated myself. I knew I was made for more, but I couldn't bring myself to give more because I was always in this like fog of wine and despair. That's a new one. That's a good bumper sticker. So anyway, the more I spoke out, the more story I had to tell. And then when I started helping people, I didn't realize like all of the bumps that were going to come along the way. And at some point I was like, well, I'll do a podcast. That way I can reach a ton of people at one time, and that'll be great. But I remember my first couple of podcasts, I couldn't speak. I felt like a fake. Like I was only a little bit sober, like, I don't know, maybe 3 months sober when I started a podcast. And I felt like just a liar. I didn't know what I thought I was doing, but I just kept feeling this nudge and this pull to talk to more people. So that's what I did. And it has been, thank you. I've had this forever. I have no idea where I got it. Somewhere cheap for sure. Like Ross or, TJ Maxx or something. And I lost the little belt. It had this cute little belt. I can't find it. I know it's here somewhere, but thank you. I really like it too. And it's perfect for me because I think it's like almost 70 degrees here today. And I can't really wear a t-shirt because I would be hot and it makes me feel so I'm wearing like a tank and this vest. I don't know if you were here in the beginning, but I was like, tell me you're from Florida without telling me you're from Florida. I got Uggs on. My hands are frozen, but I can't have my underarms covered up. Anyway, so I saw this crazy, awesome lady doing these like constructed deviled eggs, and you can put whatever. The other day I put smoked salmon on them. Holy crap, these are pickles that I made myself. I think I'm out of capers, but you can put capers on them, hot sauce, and and I got these banana peppers, but I'm trying to chill and bring down some of the craziness. And what had happened was I was trying to do keto, and actually it was going really well. Until it wasn't. Until I started eating a ton of bread because I learned how to make bread. So that's a problem. Bread and like making my own butter and putting like I could eat the whole loaf of bread that I made in one sitting. So I started making bread all the time, and so then no more keto. It's kind of like alcohol. If you keep drinking, you're gonna want more. You keep drinking, you're gonna want more. If you don't drink at all, the want for it goes away. And I was just telling somebody this too. She's got like the will to quit drinking, like steel resolve. She is done drinking, but she's only on day 7 and she's got no plan. And I'm like, there's so many things. Your resolve isn't going to be enough to take care of. So you have to be prepared with replacements, You got to be prepared with chocolate because the sugar craving is going to be insane. And that's the same thing when I'm making this bread, thinking I'll just have a little. That's not how I roll. That's not how my body rolls. It's going to be like, well, I want more bread. And then bread and sugar, not that I'm any kind of nutrition person at all, but I could definitely see that when I started eating bread, I wanted a lot more sugar. So the key is to just abstain altogether, and then the want and the habit and your brain calling for it lessens a lot, which I found out today when I was doing the TikTok and I had to use that fake wine. I seriously, that did not feel good. I was like, oh, just the sight of it wasn't a trigger. It wasn't anything like that. It was just like, I can't believe I used to drink that shit on my own. I don't know what these people are. Great kitchen, honey. Okay. Oh, gosh. This is why I can't look at the comments. Because I never know who's going to show up in there and get me really distracted and grossed out more than I was before. Anyway, how's your Friday going? Oh my God. Those pickles I made too, I had it in there with jalapeno and peppercorns. I don't think I'm going to look at the comments. Okay. What do other people do? Treadmill for 3K. Awesome. Oh, so I started the Dry January challenge for my group. We have 16 women. This is my first ever hosting a Dry January. And tomorrow morning, we have a yoga session, and we've been walking every day. We've been doing squats every day. And I tell them, like, part of quitting is retraining your brain, retraining all the things you used to do. So the girl that I talked to tonight, who's 7 days sober, she wants to go out with her friends tonight and belly up to the bar, she said. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be really bad. I was like, at least put something in between you and the bar. And then maybe from the bar to home, put something in between that as well, so you can start to retrain your brain. So if you go for a walk before you go to the bar, you're going to be feeling good and have your own dopamine going. So I couldn't seem to stop her from wanting to keep going on her regular life. But in the first 31 days, I really recommend you just stay your ass at home, walk, eat, drink tea, read books, audibles, all the things. Don't go out. Don't try to go sit with your friends 7 days into sobriety and not drink. That's going to be hard. Torment. I told her. We'll see. What else? Naps are amazing. Oh, I also told her to eat. Like, you have no idea how many calories we are saving by not drinking. This was not the amount of wine I drank. I drank the double of this, the big old huge Merlot. I can't remember how many calories. It was like 1250. 148. I think it was like 1,000 or 1250 calories in the big Merlot I was drinking. Not to mention the crap that I would eat in that night or the next day, and just the way it made you feel after the fact is just crazy. I know. Sleep is heavenly now. What else? I'm going to eat one more egg. And then I think I'm going to take a nap because it's Friday. My little kid's going to come home and ready to rock and roll and party for the rest of the weekend. And I need to get some rest. I know. How sober are you? How long have you been sober? They say if you're lonely when you're by yourself, you're not in very good company. Not to say anything about you, but what that tells me is that we need stuff to do. You got to reinvent yourself. Who are you without alcohol? Who are you now that you're sober? And you got to just try new things. And I think starting with podcast helps. Not just mine, Glow Big, by the way, great podcast. But finding, start with a podcast about something that you like. And then that'll start to inspire you while you're walking, because sitting stagnant is going to make you feel bored and boring. So listen to a podcast while you're walking and see if you become inspired. I bet you do. And then find new stuff to do. I don't know. What do? I went and got chickens. So now I'm a chicken mom. So that's what I do. I started a podcast. You could start a podcast about something that you're passionate about. You could, I don't know, start canning. I started canning and all of a sudden I'm making like crazy concoctions and you'll never know who you're going to become when you quit drinking. Yes. I love you, Tara. Day 6 again. Hey, you know what I tell people? I should have had my glasses on. Oh, Stephanie, another Stephanie, is that every time you quit is another data learning point. Every time you quit, it's going to be easier the next time. Not that I recommend going back and back and back and relapsing and all of that, but you gained some knowledge from why you slipped up. So write it down. What happened? What came upon me what happened that made me want to drink again? And be aware of that. And I really do think the walking, I know I sound insane, but it just helps you get out of that moment. On day 6, next time day 6 that comes about and you're like, oh, I need a drink, run out the house barefoot. If you look back at my TikToks from a year and a half ago, you will see me crying and walking. And I didn't know what else to do, barefoot, because I just had to get out of here or I would have driven straight to the gas station and gotten whatever I could get my hands on. It was brutal. Day 6 is not to be taken lightly. Walk, sleep, fill your brain with positive stuff. Make sure you are eating. Make sure you're drinking replacement alcohol, not replacement alcohol, but like sparkly waters and coffee and tea and sugar. Have another form of sugar around, like little chocolate chips or whatever, because day 6 is brutal. Day 3 is brutal. You got to be prepared. It's not going to be like anything else you've ever done. So you have to be prepared for it. So that's why, day 6, it's learning. That's okay. Next time, just have it together so that doesn't happen to you again. 50 days in Christmas. I can see that. Yeah, that was brutal. But I don't. So Tara is saying that time I was in Mexico, I earned a trip to Mexico. I took a sip of what I thought was club soda. I slammed it. I didn't take a sip. I freaking slammed. I came back from this dancing party thing sober. I'd been like 6 months sober, I think. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. I was 8 months sober, had a sip of beer, but I thought it was club soda and almost lost my whole shit. Like my whole brain was like, that's it, let's party. And I was like, whoa, no, I don't want to drink. I'm helping people not to drink. My brain's like, no, I already tasted it. It's time. Let's go. Let's party. And it was a very, very rough time having a sip of accidental beer in Mexico to get over that hump. So that is another thing that Tara said. When you're relapsing back and forth, it is harder to come back. You have to know that. So know that going forward, if you slip, there's a good chance you may not come back. You might not, but it's hard. I have a lot of students that have tried this before and tried to quit, and then when they fall off, sometimes they're gone for like 6 months or 8 months or a year, and really want to quit drinking but can't. So that's how I feel. That happened to my mom. She was in and out of rehabs and had just struggled with drinking forever. And then she died at 54 years old. And I know she wanted to quit, but she couldn't. You can't just flip the switch. You can't just be like, I'm done. Yay. I mean, it is work. You have to prepare, have a plan, have an accountability buddy, be ready. You can't just be like, I quit, because it won't work. I've tried that. You've tried that. So you got to have a plan. I would recommend going to funny but not funny moments. I still don't really think that's that funny that happened. What am I most thankful for in 2022? The people that I have met along the way, including Tara. I can't see who asked that question, but I love that. Delaware. The people that I have met have kept me accountable, and the people that have trusted me to help them. My husband, I'm grateful for him for letting me do this. And him and I were party friends forever, and then had a baby. And I still was trying to maintain the identity of this cool party chick. And so I'm thankful that he didn't leave me for being, I completely put my head down and said, I'm not drinking. And I only focused on not drinking, and then helping others, and then starting a podcast and doing this and making a course and one-on-one coaching and just all this stuff going on. And he has stayed supportive the whole time. So I'm grateful for that, for my son. I'm grateful for finally being able to help people, coaching people, gaining confidence that I actually can help people, because there was a time when I thought I was just useless and couldn't help anybody. And now I know that I do actually help people get sober, women, and it's amazing. So I'm grateful for a lot in 2022. A lot. Grateful to be alive, that I was able to come out of that drinking spell that I was in. And my fatty liver went away. I'm grateful for that. Grateful I didn't, just grateful. Really, that would probably be my word for 2020. So nice question. Thank you for that. What are you grateful for? What else? Thank you for the rose, Debbie. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go. I'm tired. I think I'm drinking a lot of caffeine, and I read that it can actually screw up your, was it nervous system? No. What's it called? When you're really like worn out your body, not burnout, but like there's an actual medical term for it. Something to do with burnout. And anyway, apparently it can be happening with the caffeine intake and why you crash so hard. And then, why can't I think of the word? It's also why like you will crash, and then at 6 p.m. you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm ready to go now. And then you start cleaning the house and stuff like that. Can't think of what it is, but that's kind of what happens to me. I just burn out and crash, and then wake up and ready to, okay, well, let's get the night ready. And it's just weird. So I go down really hard, but I get up early too. I get up early and drink a lot of coffee. So I got to chill on that because I'm having heart palpitations. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go. I always do that. That's annoying about myself, is that I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. But then I say like 20 more things. I did that on yesterday's podcast also. But I couldn't edit it out. My husband. Oh, I love these questions. Baby steps. Thank you, Tara. I love you so much. Sherry, day 2. That's amazing. Make sure you're listening to Glow Big podcast. That'll help a lot. And he is mostly sober. So we used to party together. When I said I was quitting drinking, he quit with me for 30 days. Oh, that's sweet. I know. I need to pull up a chair or just hang out. What am I doing? He quit with me for 30 days, which was super freaking helpful. Because if he had been here drinking beer, and he was never a big drinker either. He would only drink. He never blacked out. He never acted a fool. It was always me going to jail and shit. So his drinking was never a problem, but he did get sober. But then like pretty early on, he would start having beers and stuff at the restaurants that we would go to, or sake at the sushi place. But he never drank red wine, which was very good, because if we were red wine drinkers and he kept drinking that in front of me at home and at restaurants, that would have been hard. I had a boyfriend one time tell me that I was an alcoholic. I think I was 25 years old. We lived together, and it was Valentine's night. And he had a really nice bottle of Pinot Grigio. And he was like, you're an alcoholic. As he's pouring himself in one of the nice glasses too, like the big bowl kind of glasses. And he was like, if you touch this wine tonight, and I had made us like steaks and potatoes and all this really like shrimp and stuff. He's like, if you touch this, it's over, and we're going to break up, and you're an alcoholic. And he drank it in front of me while telling me I'm no longer allowed to drink anymore. And of course I was like, and I drank, and we broke up, and he was a dick anyway. But, so my point is, it makes it harder when somebody's drinking your favorite stuff in the house. It's almost impossible. What's wrong with women? 6th divorce. How far do I walk to? It really depends. Okay, so my dry January group that I have, I've challenged them. This is the first week of our challenge. And so I'm like, I just want you to walk 15 minutes. That is all. So yesterday it was like nice and cozy. My kid was here. We'd already eaten, and I just wanted to stay on the couch, but I promised them that I would do whatever I asked them to do. So I walked for 15 only. I was like, I'm only going to walk for 15, but most days when I'm in good spirits and now, everything's kind of flowing, then I'll walk like 30, 40 minutes, no problem with my little boy. But yesterday, 15 minutes was all I could bang out. And then I found another tip. I didn't want to walk yesterday, right? So I added on squats for the group. I was like, just do 5 squats a day after your walk or before your walk. Well, I did 5 right before I went for a walk, and it gave me energy. So if you're feeling like you want to walk, but you can't bear to think about it, just stand up and do like a couple of squats, and I don't know, get your blood flowing, and then you feel like walking, and then I had energy. So just do a few squats. 2 months sober. Congratulations on the 26th. Awesome. Very big. That's a big deal. 2 months is a big deal. 3 days is a big deal. 1 day is a big deal. So celebrate those wins. Don't beat yourself up if this is your 1,000th time quitting. Just do something different than you did last time. Did you walk last time? Did you journal? Did you have sparkly waters? Did you listen to podcasts? Did you listen to quit literature? Did you know what I mean? What are the things you're missing that you didn't do last time? Do that this time. Do something different. If you do the same thing, like I'm going to quit, then it's not going to work. I promise. You have to have a plan. Hey, thank you very much. Thanks, Daisy. I needed to hear you say don't leave, even though I still got to go because I got to pee and stuff. But thanks for being here. I do have a sober group. It's called Sober Vibes with Stephanie on Facebook. It's a free group if you want to hop over there. Listen to Glow Big podcast. I really, my heart and soul is in that thing. I was doing a little bit of burnout around Christmas time. But I did publish one yesterday. So check that out. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend.